Well, good afternoon, everybody. This is Eric over at American Business Systems. I welcome you here to join me on this Wednesday afternoon. I hope you're doing well. Gosh, folks, can you believe that from 2 weeks from tomorrow is Thanksgiving? If you can imagine that. It's just going by so quickly. But hopefully what you're going to find out, though, is that this next hour is going to go by just as quickly because we've got some great information to go through with you. We're going to talk today about why would a doctor outsource their billing, or it's just really the what's the advantages of doctors outsourcing their billing. And so we're going to get into that this afternoon, and I hope that you've come with some questions. If you've got some questions for me, I'll be able to answer those for you as we go through the webinar this afternoon. And again, for those that are just joining me, again, my name is Eric Auger. I'll be your host this afternoon for the American Business Systems weekly webinar. We do this every single week of the year. And depending on how the holidays fall, I think we're still doing it anyway. So we've been doing this for so many years, and so many people get so much out of these webinars here. Every week we try to do a different topic, as you know. And so we do some polling. We try to get some information, what people are looking for. Obviously, this is a great question. Why would a doctor outsource their billing in the first place? I'm going to give you some great data to this afternoon, not just what we think why doctors would outsource, but really why some statistics why doctors would outsource. Okay. So it looks like we've got a pretty good crowd here this afternoon. I appreciate Diana and Eric and Lola and Suzette and Andre and for the others that are joining us here this afternoon. If you don't mind just going over to that little Q&A box over there, just tell me where you're located. Just tell me what city, maybe what state you're located in. That does a couple of things. First of all, it just lets me know that you can hear me okay. Secondly, I love to hear where you're from. And then lastly, it lets you know where you can ask some questions. So you're going to want to ask me some questions as we go through this afternoon. So I appreciate Diana being the first one from San Francisco. Hope that you're doing well out there on the West Coast. Appreciate you coming in and joining us this afternoon. Let's see if we can get anybody else to dial in and tell me where they're from. Andre is from Washington. So, okay, we got 2 West Coast folks there. 3, Suzette from California, Modesto, California. So man, I guess we got all the West Coast group here this afternoon. So see if anybody else wants to pipe in here. Maybe we get some from the Midwest or from oh, there it is. Eric's from Atlanta, Georgia. So there you go. We've got them coast to coast now. I'm in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. It's beautiful skies this afternoon, kind of a mid-70s thing. I feel like I actually am in San Diego. It's such a nice afternoon here. Now, if y'all didn't know this, we were freezing the other day, and then all of a sudden, I think we're going to be back up to like 82, 85 by Friday and Saturday. So it's just crazy weather here, but hopefully you're enjoying the weather where you are, and then also getting ready for the holidays. Man, folks, like I said, we're coming up on the last part of the year. We've got Thanksgiving coming up. We've got Christmas coming up. Then obviously the new year. So we are just weeks away from turning the calendar over from 2025 to 2026, if y'all can imagine that. So, all right. Again, if you've never met me, my name is Eric Auger. I am part of American Business Systems. I have been for quite some time. I think I'm in my 17th year here with American Business Systems. I've done everything from administrative work to being on the sales team to doing webinars with our founder, with Patrick Phillips, and now with his son, Adam. Adam is our CEO of our company. Matter of fact, Adam and I did an incredible interview last week. So if you want to pull out your phones and scan this QR code and grab this for later, we did an interview with a business owner, Heather Signorelli. That was an amazing webinar and interview. This lady's doing some incredible things. So if you haven't gotten a chance to watch this webinar, I highly recommend that you go back and watch it again, or if you haven't watched it in the first place, you're going to go watch it, but you're going to go to watch it maybe 2 or 3 times. She's got some incredible things that she's doing. Her and her husband, now she does come from a healthcare background, not in billing. We did talk to her about that. Her husband was in sales and I think IT work, so there's a lot of stuff to do with IT. But over a couple of years' time, their billing is over 7 figures. So That is an incredible amount of claims that they're pushing out. And it's all started off with them just being creative, very, very, very creative. She actually has a podcast. That's how she's getting a lot of her doctors now, because she is putting out such great information just about revenue cycle management and the healthcare industry and everything else that's going on. So you go, gosh, do I have to do that? No, you don't have to do that. We've got several different ways to show you how to land and get your first client. But it's just go watch that one. That one's really, really good. Now, I'm pulling out my little trusty calendar here. There's a date here that you may want to put down. December the 10th, which is just about 4 weeks away. I'm going to be interviewing a gentleman by the name of Jeff Bruner. Now, Jeff is an ABS business owner. He's been with us for quite some time, but he's also part of our support team here. And you're going to find this interview to be very good because he's going to show you how to get that low-hanging fruit on getting your first client. So December the 10th, you're not going to want to miss that one. All right, so just a little bit of information here. Go watch this interview with Heather. Adam and I we both were blown away. And we wanted just to showcase this again today on today's webinar so that you can go out and get that. Speaking of Adam is our CEO. Adam's been running our company for the last 4 or 5, maybe even 6 years now. He is also a contributing writer, if you want to call him, article writer, for a magazine group called Billing and Coding Advantage. This group has been around as far as I know. It's probably 20 plus years. I mean, I've been with ABS for 17. I've always heard of them. And Adam gets to push out several articles through that. And that's pretty cool. So you want to go check out his latest article. I'm going to share this with you right here. It's called The Shrinking Private Practice. You probably go, why is it shrinking? But finish it out. Why billing expertise can be a lifeline. And some of that we're going to talk about today. Again, doctors have billers in their office, obviously. But is that the best thing for them? I hope to make the case that you'll see, not with what we're trying to say, but with what industry says, that it's really best that doctor outsource their billing. Okay. So that's really the main reason why you came today, is why would a doctor do that? But if you want to take a screenshot of this, you're more than welcome to do. If you want to, you can get a copy of this PDF from your sales rep later. Either way, it's a great article. You're going to want to go get that. Lola's from Houston. So, okay, got another Texan here. Good to have you on here. So we've got everybody really, truly coast to coast, everything from the West Coast to the mid part of the United States and all the way to the East Coast. Thanks everybody for joining me this afternoon. Adam's also written some other articles that go in the Billing and Coding magazine that might catch your interest. He wrote one, will the whole thing about AI catch up and will it take over medical billing? I know that everybody's got some concern about artificial intelligence. Look, I use it every single day. I use it for research. I use it to help me to actually edit all of my articles that I put together. It's incredible for, like I said, for research, but even better, it's that there are elements that are actually baked into our software. So I think the more that we go along, you're going to find more and more billing platforms that is going to have some type of artificial intelligence built into it. And it's not to take over the billing. I think it's, as far as I can see, I think it's going to be just an incredible asset to the doctors and getting their payments in and getting them paid better, because AI is being able to do some incredible things out there, making sure codes are done properly. So again, if you don't know codes, it's really what it will almost do away with is, really having the need for a medical coder, because you can do so much lookup and research so lightning fast now. So AI is around. It's going to be here. It's here to stay. It can be a little scary if you think about it, but you can grab that article too. You can ask you can get both of those articles from your sales rep here. So just remember who you're dealing with. remember to tell them after the webinar, hey, Eric mentioned a couple of articles that Adam has written for the BC Advantage magazine. So go get that. Adam's also written a few books. I'm showcasing this one. He actually co-authored this with Dr. Vicki Rackner. Dr. Rackner is on the board of directors for MIRMA. I'll tell you a little bit about that in a moment. But this is a great little introductory that you can give to doctors. We can show you how to get a copy of that maybe towards the end if you got any questions, maybe how to get a copy of that. MIRMA, I just mentioned that. That's the Medical Revenue Management Association of America. It is this organization that you'll be a part of once you've completed all the training here and successfully. And with that, they are the group that will certify you as a certified medical revenue manager. So there you go. You'll be a CMRM. After the completion of our training, you get to put those credentials after your name. It's very well known by now. This has been around for about 10 years. So folks, doctors know what a CMRM is now. They know that you're a certified medical revenue manager. And a lot of times they just know that you own your own business. And that's the key thing. I tell you, one of the greatest takeaways before I just jump completely into why would a doctor outsource their billing? And that is this. One of the things that Heather really touched based on last week was, just letting people know that you are the owner of an organization. And that organization could be, a $60,000, $70,000 a year income, or it could be in the 6 or 7 figure income. Doesn't matter what it is. You are the owner of your company. You're the executive, the chief executive officer of your company. And that's who we like to make sure that we're talking with today. Now, whether you're listening to it live today or whether you're watching it a little bit later on in a YouTube video, I hope that you understand that I'm addressing folks that want to become a chief executive officer of their company, not just a medical biller. Okay, so I'm making that very clear. In part, once you become associated with everything, you really are a part of the nation's largest network of independent medical billing companies. So come join us here. I mean, we would love to have you a part of American Business Systems. All right, so let's get right on into the discussion of why would a doctor outsource their billing. Now, again, remember, as we kind of get started here, Diana and Eric and Lola, remember the Q&A box is open. I'm watching it. Now, listen, if you send me a question and I know that I'm going to get to that answer here in just a little bit in the slide deck, I'm just going to tell you, I'm going to answer that question. If I feel like I need to stop there, I'll do my best just to go ahead and stop and answer that question as best I can. Okay, how's that? Is that fair enough with everybody? All right, so let's do a little bit of digging here. All right, so the medical billing business outsourcing market it truly is booming. It's been booming year by year. It grows by leaps and bounds. And again, folks, if you want to, you can either, number one, take screenshots of all of this as you kind of go through it. You can use it for your own, resource of trying to figure out everything, whether this is a business you want to be a part of or not. Or again, if you want to just wait to the very end, you can get a PDF of all this because this is a lot of good information. And I've even shown the resource where we got the information from. So it's booming at $16 to $19 billion a year. It's projected to reach 30 to 54 billion by 2030 through 34. So, folks, you can see that there's no stop as we can see this. Now, I remember back 16, 17 years ago when I first started with ABS, this was just really in the small millions, and it is expounded year by year by year. But again, healthcare costs do go up as well. So obviously that's a big thing. But already, about 57.68% of practices have outsourced billing operations. Okay, so what does that tell you? That means you can just look at out of every 2 doctors, 1 doctor is doing their billing outsourcing. Okay, and it shows that with an industry growth, it could be at 12.3% annually. So and again, that's going to be fluid. I want to be honest and open with you and transparent. These numbers are fluid because you got brand new doctors that are coming in. You've got doctors who've been wooed in to become part of a group practice or an employee of a hospital. And they found out that that wasn't the best thing. They just said, you know what, I'd rather be back in independent practice. So you're going to have doctors move in and out, okay? Some doctors who, I tell you what happens is that a lot of doctors feel like if they've hired a biller and they've got that billing sector in their office, and then they just can't make it. That's where I've seen over the years where doctors have gone become like employees of hospitals. Then they found out that, gosh, that's really not what they wanted to do. They can't. They're boxed in. They can only see their patients for a very, very limited amount, and then they got to get to the next one because it's like cattle going through cattle guards. You know, it's just you can't. It's just very, very highly regulated whenever doctors are employees of hospitals or medical groups. And so they don't have the freedom. Listen, I don't know about you, but I would prefer to go to an independent doctor who's not so worried about looking at their watch. You know, I don't want that. I want them to be listening to me. If I'm not well, I want that doctor's attention, and not on whether that doctor or whether it's he or she kind of clicking through this thing. Man, I got to wrap this up because man, I got another patient because I've got to meet a certain number of quota patients to see in a day. I'd rather have an independent doctor who can think on their feet and not worried about it, and they don't care if they're going over hours a little bit. They want to be here. So, and that's better for our community. So I share this very broadly because if you think about it, if more and more doctors were to outsource, better care actually happens within a community. So there's some numbers there. Again, if you want to take a screenshot of any of these numbers, you certainly can. Okay. So let's dive into the first thing here, cost savings. So I'm going to go through a few things here this afternoon. And the number one thing, cost savings drives outsourcing decisions. Okay. So just think about that. There's a 35% cost reduction automatically when they get it out of their office. It's an automatic operational cost that just kind of goes to the floor. What happens? Well, they lose a full-time employee. And if you know the cost of having a full-time employee, and you can eliminate that part of your outgo, okay? Because let's think about it. If a doctor is paying a typical biller, they're going to be making a minimum of about $55,000 a year, could be as high as $75,000 a year. Okay. Then they've got all the other taxes that go along with it, unemployment tax and insurance and packages and everything else. So when you add all of that back in there, you know, to have a full-time employee where all they are doing is medical billing, that cost alone could be in the neighborhood of $85,000 to $90,000 fairly easily once you've got all the benefits and everything pulled in. Now, I know that not all doctors get benefits, so but let's just say that person's getting like clockwork. They're doing their job, okay, but they're not collecting as high of a percentage on those claims as if they had outsourced it. Okay. Now I'm going to hopefully be able to get in some of these numbers a little bit later and you'll see that. But just imagine that the doctors are paying a very high price to get a job done, but they're not getting a big return. Imagine the doctors could pay a little smaller cost on doing that and get a greater return. That's what outsourcing does because your success is tied to the doctor's success. I hope you're tracking with me. See, there's no success tied to an in-house medical biller. You know, there's no incentives that are there. You know, if you make sure that I get X amount of dollars turned in, then I'm going to give you a bonus. That's typically not how it works. Okay. So, but if the doctor gets that outsourced to somebody like you, then it's better. Then you can see the collection rate goes through the roof. You know, outsourcing achieves anywhere from 90 to 95% collection rate. Why is that? Because again, your money is tied to how much you bring in to the doctor, where it can be for in-house billing teams, it could be 85% or lower. Okay. Now, That all has to do with what's known as a rejection rate. How many claims do you get filed, and how many of those claims get rejected? So if you're doing 10, or let's say 100 claims, okay, how many of those claims actually go through the first time and get paid, versus how many of those hundreds and some of them get rejected because there's a problem? Well, again, if you're doing 100, that means you're getting 85 of those, and 15 of those never get paid. Okay. Now remember, that person over here is the medical billing full-time employee. They're getting paid whether they collect 85% or 95%. Hopefully you're starting to see this little bit bigger picture here. So the annual savings for a small to medium practice, and that's a 1 to 2 doctor practice, could save $365,000 annually on average through outsourcing. Okay, that's how much money they could be saving or adding to back to the practice. Okay, and then are there hidden costs? Hidden cost practices lose 25 to 30% of potential income due to improper billing. So you can see all of this is adding up. So again, I've got a full-time employee that I'm paying them X amount, whether I'm getting the doctor's getting paid 80% of all claims being sent in, or 90% of claims being getting filled in. Outsourcing, even bad outsourcers, outsource companies achieve at least a 90%. So there's already a 5% gain in their billing, even just getting it out of their office, and the reduction of having a full-time employee. So hopefully this is painting a picture for you, not only the cost savings, but the increase of revenue that happens back into that practice. Okay. Again, I'm gonna pause here. Are there any questions? We got a couple of more people that have to join us. Denise, good to see you. Ali, it's good to see you. So, if there's any questions so far, if I'm making sense, just I think there's a little thing there to give me a little thumbs up or a hearts or something. If this is making sense to you, give me some indication either in a text in the Q&A box, or something there that you can kind of give me some information on. That would be helpful. Okay. Number 2, staffing changes. Okay, I see some applause, some thumbs up, some all sorts of stuff going up here. It's like fireworks here. Okay, good. Because folks, what I'm teaching you today is a lot of what we would teach you is if you were starting our class already. So this is not, you can hopefully see, I'm not here to sell you anything. I'm just giving you data today of why would a doctor actually outsource their billing. Okay, here's staffing challenges creates headaches. Number 1, there's a high turnover. If there is the highest turnover I think I've ever seen in a doctor's office, it's the biller. They are doing, they get, not only do they find out that they have to do billing, but sometimes if somebody doesn't show up, they're having to check people in. Then the next thing that they're having to do, then they're having to go prep a room and clean a room. And then they get frustrated. They go, listen, I came here just to do billing. I didn't come in here to sweep your floor. I didn't go clean the toilet when somebody vomits all over the place, you know. I came here to do your billing. High turnover, 33%. And then imagine that happening every year. So you can see that that's an incredible. Eric, I see that you've raised your hand. I don't know if you've got a question. If you've got a question, shoot it over there to me. But if it's just to say high five, that's good too. All right. Number 2, lengthy recruitment. Folks, guys, oh yeah, got it, Eric. You hit the wrong button, no big deal. I don't know if y'all have ever had to hire, but going through recruitment is tough. And most doctors are independent. So guess who has to do all the interviews? Typically, it's the doctor. And or maybe their staff members having to do it. And then they have to get it back up to the doctor. The doctor finally has to meet with them. But, you know, to fill a gap in any position in a doctor's office could be anywhere from 80 to 109 days to fill, leaving gaps in there. And then training. Then once you've got somebody and you feel like you've got the right person, matter of fact, Heather said this, because someone asked her, have you hired people to do your billing for you? Because obviously we know you and your husband's not doing all the billing. She goes, yes. She goes, I've learned to hire slow and fire fast. so, so even with a medical billing company, hiring the right person can be some challenges. So, and then number three, extended training, 6 to 18 months of training before they really reach their full potential. There in a doctor's office. So, those are just some challenges. These are challenges you probably never even thought of. Okay. I'm just letting you know because mainly a doctor, an independent medical bill, a doctor, not a medical biller, but an independent doctor, whether it's a one doctor practice or maybe a 1 to 3 doctor practice, uh, most of those guys and gals, they all they want to do is just see patients. That's all they want. They really do want somebody else to run their practice, and the best thing to do is get it to someone like an outsourced billing person to be able to just say, look, can you do this? Yes. Let me just hand this over to you. And then if you added other things, certification cost, there are certification exams. Sometimes the doctors pay for those, sometimes they don't. It's just again, I'm just giving you data today. Then talent pipeline, experienced builders are moving to remote roles at higher pay rates. Guess where they're going? They're finding people like Heather or other ABS business owners and then go, oh man, I can do your billing and I don't have to leave my home and I can bill for 3 or 4 doctors and make incentives and have incentives through that. That's why I'm talking to a group of CEOs. Remember, you don't always have to do the billing. Grow your business large enough to where you are hiring that experienced biller over there and get them on an incentive program. That's what you do. So the good billers that doctors used to find are going away because they're finding people like ABS business owners who are taking them away from those, and then sometimes they could be their own prior biller. All right, moving on. So we kind of dealt with outsourcing decisions, cost savings there, and then just dealing with personnel. Number three is regulatory compliance burdens. And so what I'm going to share with you right now is just let me get this out of the way so I can see. Where's that going? I got a picture of me bouncing all over this screen of mine. All right, so we're going to talk about regulatory compliance burdens. Now, right now, the number one issue is regulatory requirements. Healthcare providers must navigate hundreds of complex regulations across 9 domains. No domains. Now, folks, you may not have known this, but in the healthcare world, because of the government shutdown, a lot of doctors prior to October the 1st were seeing a lot of their patients virtually. I don't know if you've ever had a virtual visit with your doctor, but for all of their Medicare patients could not be seen during the month of October and partly here in November until we hear that the government is not longer shut down. Doctors cannot do telemed visits right now. They can't bill for them. Because it's all tied up. Those are the things that just drive doctors bonkers. That's just one of 625 regulatory requirements that could happen, and they've got to keep up with it. Now, as a medical billing company, like especially when you're part of American Business Systems, we keep up with all of that information. So we have weekly webinars to keep you up to date. It's amazing all the information that you get from us. All right, number two, 6.6 million annual costs and compliance costs for mid-sized hospitals reaches millions annually. So I'm talking about hospitals and annual costs that can be done with compliance. So, but take that down, $6.6 million down to the doctor's office. So when we're talking about compliance costs, I mean, it could eat that doctor alive on HIPAA compliance issues. And I'm going to share a little bit about how you can bring some issues to that. And that goes right along with data breaches. 734 data breaches could be affected in a doctor's office. 734 breaches in 2024 affecting 276 million records. Okay. Now, you never probably thought about this, But let me kind of give you an example of how HIPAA compliance data breaches happen so quickly. You ever been to the doctor's office and you're at the desk and you're getting ready to pay and you're standing behind somebody and then that person leaves and guess what the person there typically leaves out? That file is still open as the next person in line. You're able to see the person's name. You could literally take your iPhone and go click, share data. There's a data breach. I mean, it could be just that simple. And so what happens is that doctors are faced with these issues all the time. So add that to everything I've said to already. Having to deal with the attrition of hiring medical billers, having to actually get a medical biller, how we're going to pay them. A lot of things are faced with these doctors' offices. And the HIPAA penalties can be anywhere from $100 to $50,000 per incident for unknowing breaches and willful negligence. They start at $50,000. Okay. So again, I'm just giving you some data here. Just this is more of a data dump of what doctors are faced with. And you'll see here in just a moment that we can help resolve that. And then technology costs. EMR implementation costs can be $162,000 for a 5-physician practice. Billing software integrations can start adding up. That means when you're integrating a new piece of software. And I'm going ahead and say this now. All softwares that are out there, all billing softwares that are out there are typically a subscription type base. Okay, so that means that the doctors are paying a certain amount per month to use a billing system. Okay, so the software, whether it's Athena Health, whether it is, gosh, I can't remember all of them that are out there. There are certain costs that go or that are associated with that. It used to be to where the doctors were buying the software and they were having to basically almost pay it out over a certain period of time. And then they had servers, and those days are pretty much all gone. Okay. Excuse me. Most server-based softwares are history now. All right, Diana's got a question here about software, and I'm going to find out her question here in just one more second here. And so before I get into this one, let me go over here and I'm going to stop sharing this and let's see if I can answer Diana's question here. Is the software you use for claims safe from breaches? Yes, it is. I did a demo and learned you can log in from any computer, tablet, etc. There is no server to log in from. Correct. Is that typical in medical billing? Yes, and that's what I'm saying is whether you're using iClaim, that you don't have a server that you got to log in through, you're actually logging in through a secured portal. I tell you, every doc that I go see now has a patient portal. It's usually typically built into their software, their what's called their practice management software, and that's where the billing actually happens. That's where all the data is stored and all of that. So yeah, Diana, it's our iClaim platform is very safe. It's been around for years now, so it's a very safe. Now we actually also to tell you we've got 3 different types of iClaim platforms that you can choose from. Some that have a little bit higher access to artificial intelligence and some of the other bells and whistles. There's some less expensive ones for the doctors to be able to use. And so those are iClaim. So get back with your sales rep, just like Diana. Set up a time where you can see a demo of the software, and you'll gain a lot from that. Just seeing that. And you probably heard me say that there's a monthly fee to use the iClaim software. Okay, so let me kind of share how that works. Now, again, you're not paying for that, so understand that whenever you start your business here and you invest the $30,000 here as the investment here, that's a one-time fee. There's no other fees that you're paying for ABS. However, with like the iClaim platform, there are service fees just like there would be for Athena Health or any others out there. Now, what we do, and I'll share my story, I've had 2 medical billing companies through American Business Systems. Whenever I charged the doctors, my percentage, I always had my cost built into my percentage. So that in essence, there was really no cost to the doctor. For example, if I once I ran the doctor's numbers and I was doing the practice analysis like you're going to learn how to do, and let's say that I calculated out that I needed at least 6% to do the billing, but then I would add another half a percent in there that if I wanted to, I can cover the cost for the iClaim platform for the doctor. So what I would do, I would tell the doctor, look, I can do your billing and you're going to get my software for 6.5%. And there's no other fees that you have to go with. Sometimes that the doctors loved it. Sometimes they said, you know what, I don't want to actually use your platform right now. Can you use it with mine? I go, sure. It's still going to be 6.5% though. So the doctor still had to pay for his or her platform. I just billed through their software. So, and you'll hear that from Heather. So if you'll go back again and watch that webinar that we did last Wednesday with Heather, you'll find out that she's using multiple platforms. And again, there's no cost that she's having to deal and pay for the doctor or charge the doctors for that. So hopefully, Diana, that helped answer your question there. All right, let me get back to sharing my screen here. And let's talk about real quickly some regulatory burdens that are lifted. All right, first of all, this kind of gets to really what Diana was asking. Is the platform secure here? iClaim and EMRX are streamlined revenue cycle management processes. They encompass patient registration and conclude with the final payment. It's all encompassed in one, and it's HIPAA compliant. So the doctors never have to worry about where they're logging in from. They too could be on vacation and tap into their EMR system and write a prescription or see what's going on and see all that. But the other side of it, one of the other outstanding services that we have for HIPAA compliance is called Compliancy Guard. Now, here's something I'd like for you to do. Now, I've already mentioned to you that I want you to get back with your sales rep and set up a demo so you can see the iClaim and EMRX platform work in hand, kind of hand in glove there. But also talk to them about the HIPAA Compliancy Guard. Now, I'm going to give you a little sneak peek here. Adam Phillips just wrote an article, about 7 points or 8 points of the advantage of starting your business in the fourth quarter of the year. Okay. He just released it literally right before I got on. I'm going to share some of those points with you next week. But I will share at least one of them with you right now. And that is doctors are trying right now to figure out what they're going to do differently in 2026 right now. So think of the rest of 2025 as a soft launch going into 2026 and you learning about Compliancy Guard, because starting in January 1 of 2026, doctors have to redo their entire HIPAA training. And they have to ensure that every staff member has new passwords. They have to check their locks on their doors. They have to make sure all their security things are buttoned down. Again, make sure everybody's retrained. All of that has to be logged, trained, and put away. That if in the event they have some type of HIPAA violation throughout the year, their saving grace is we took our people through this. So you're seeing it's more preventative maintenance for that doctor than anything else. And doctors are going to need this. And this is a wonderful opportunity for you to show the doctor that you bring more value to them than just trying to get their medical billing. Okay. Andre is asking, how do I connect with a rep to see a demo and get more information? Andre, if you don't know who your rep is at this point, it's probably typically the person that you got an email from to join today's webinar. If not, I'm going to show you how to find those folks out here in just a minute. Okay. All right, let's move it on. In financial impact, improved revenue. Obviously, there's nothing more than what the doctor wants is better revenue, right? That's why they're doing what they're trying to do. So this is why you would want to start with American Business Systems. So let me kind of share with you a little bit. Obviously, what the doctors are trying to do is let me get back over here just real quickly with this. So at the end of the day, after doing all the things that we talked about, at the end of the day, doctors want to know, how can I make more money? How can I bring in more money? How can I save money? How can I be better efficient so I can get home and be with my family? All of those things add up to outsourcing their billing. It really is. Once a doctor does it, it's unbelievable how much more freedom they have, how happy they are. And again, you got a happier doctor. They're seeing their patients. Their patients are being improved all the way around. It's helpful. Okay. So let's talk. Let's take the last 10, 15 minutes here and let's just talk real quickly of why start with American Business Systems. Okay. So let's just kind of do that. Number one, ABS has been around over here for over 30 years. It was founded in 1994. And truly, we are the industry pioneers of starting up an entrepreneurial business in medical revenue management. Okay. We have been around probably the longest that I can think of, and I can truly say I've been here over half of those years of being over here. Something else you don't have to worry about is you don't have to have a special degree. You'll actually hear Heather. She had somewhat of a healthcare background, but it was not in revenue cycle management. So what she was in had nothing to do of her getting any particular doctors. And so we're going to teach you right along the way of what's going to need, because we've got a complete, comprehensive, over 100 comprehensive training, over 100 hours of continual education after that. So you're going to go through the training here. Will typically take you about 2.5 weeks. There's 10 modules that you're going to go through. Now, let me see if I was looking at my list here. Yes, on December the 3rd, I am going to have a topic on why ABS training is all you need. Okay. So if you want to mark that down, that's just a couple of weeks away. If you want to learn what you're going to learn in training, join me back in a couple of weeks here. And then there is nobody in the market of business opportunities out there that does this. We offer a 30-day money-back guarantee, 100% money-back guarantee. That offer is made to every single person, because here's what we know. You've been joining us on Wednesday webinars. You've probably sat with your sales rep. They're talking to you. They're probably putting you in front of some other people that are in the business here at American Business Systems. You've done everything that you know you're ready to do. You sign on the dotted line. And you think, gosh, what if I can't really complete this training? What if to get through with the training, it's just not what I expected? Folks, that's all you got to tell us. It's just not what I expected. And your time starts when you start training. So your 30 days start the actual day that you start training. So even if you signed with us, it's not like, okay, you got 30 days from the time that you signed with us. It's actually 30 days from the time of your training. So it truly does make sure that you get through all of your training, you get all of the everything sent to you, and still then you use that as part of your risk assessment and what you're trying to figure out if this is the right business for you. And then at the end of that 30 days, if you feel like it's not for you, then certainly you can ask for your money back. All right, some financial potential for yourself. A typical doctor, and I'm going to say kind of the lower hanging fruit. So this is where, if you want to tune in with me on December the 10th, and you're hear from Jeff Bruner, this is the group that we're going to be talking about here, where you could be making anywhere from $25,000 to $30,000 a year per doctor. And with a six-figure income potential with 4 to 5 doctors. Now, I could also show you that with one doctor, and that's how Heather and them did, they ended up getting a fairly large internal medicine group, and each of those doctors were generating a revenue of $50,000 to $60,000 per doctor. Okay, so you can see that you can get there pretty quickly, but you're really potential. We like to kind of just put it on the lower end. So if you had 4 doctors at this, what we're talking about there, and those 4 doctors would take you about 6 hours a day to complete, you're making over $100,000 working about 5 to 6 hours a day. Okay. Flexibility, you're working as, obviously, most of you are here trying to figure out how can I have a business as a home-based business. There's no commute that you have to deal with. You set your own schedule, again, work from anywhere, and it's recession proof. Currently, right now, it's a one-time investment of $30,000. There's no ongoing royalties. There's no territory restrictions. That was another great thing that I heard again last week from Heather. They live in the Carolinas. They've got doctors all over the place. So there are no territories that you have to worry about. And then all of our technology is cloud-based software. You don't have to load it on a computer. Just get you a good computer that you can hook up to the internet just about anywhere, and get that taken care of. Okay. And then like you see there's 12 different income generating services. Okay. Today we're not going to be able to go through all 12 of them, but you can certainly do that. Why now is the perfect time? Again, I've already set the stage that healthcare service is the #1 super sector for growth according to the US Bureau of Labor. It is the fastest growing sustainable out there market growth that there is out there in the marketplace. Now, demographic shift. 80 million baby boomers retiring are creating an unprecedented healthcare demand. Folks, I remember starting here, like I said, 17 years ago. In less than 2 months, I turned 63. That means in about 2 more years, I'll be 65. I'll be in that area of that shift that's happening. And so it is it is, you've got a lot of people turning 65. And as we grow older, as Patrick Phillips used to say, he says things just stop working the way that they used to do. Our hair is turned from black to white, and we're getting less of it, and we find ourselves going to the doctors a little bit more. So there is always a sustainable growth there. You always want to find out, is there growth in whatever sector I'm getting into? That's it. Untapped market. Over 70% of doctors have not yet filed electronically, mandates representing a huge still opportunity out there. And then lastly, digital transitions. Government mandates drive electronic billing and adopt across all practices. So again, you can take a quick snapshot of that. These are just, again, some statistics that I've pulled together. So you asked the question, again, why would a doctor outsource their billing? I think I've been able to cover that for the most part. If you got any questions for me, I'm going to start wrapping up here. We've got about 15 more minutes. May not even take us all the way to the top of the hour. It might get you out of here a little bit early. I remember sitting in school when the teacher would always say, "Hey, I'll get you out a little bit early." I was always excited, going, "Woo, let's get out early." That's all awesome. But Ollie or Andre or Denise or Diana, Eric, if y'all have any last minute questions, now's a good time to kind of shoot those over to me. Now let me talk with you about something that is occurring starting January the 1st of 2026. The investment is going from a $30,000 investment to a $35,000 investment. Now, the great thing about it is you're still getting all the same stuff, but you're actually going to end up getting a little bit more as time goes on. Matter of fact, a lot of what we have right now, we probably should have gone up to $35,000 at the beginning of this year, but Adam and them held back a little bit. We added a lot of new training. We've actually added an advanced training to all of everything else that we're doing here. So that's already included, but it's already been paid for. But we're having to go up by $5,000 starting 2026. However, if you get with your sales rep, I did hear that there might be a few things that can get worked out. If you're trying to get your cash flow and you may not be able to get it till after the first of the year, get locked in now. There's some things that you can do to get locked in. Okay. Andre, are you able to speak with recent cohorts of people who have purchased to get their feedback too? Yes, I'm going to show you actually how to do that in just a moment. Matter of fact, let me go back here real quickly. I'm going to show you one person that you can talk to, and that is Heather. She did agree that she would take a call from anybody that's on the call today. So if you'd like to talk with Heather Signorelli, you can certainly do that.